I was born in 1995 into a home that only had one video game console, and that one was Nintendo Entertainment System. I'm convinced that I learned how to use a controller before I learned how to walk, and I became obsessed. Then at around age 4, my family got a PlayStation. But even after the PS2 released, I kept coming back to good old NES. Now, keep this in mind for later, I never had a Super Nintendo. I went from NES to PS1 and N64, so I missed all of the SNES goodness. But I kept playing a shit ton of NES because it had the Marios, Ninja Turtles, all that good stuff. And I also had another cartridge, and it was the original Metroid. A game that I could only describe as one giant steaming pile of shit.
What are you, fucking stupid? Huh? On your mother's birthday?
Maybe that's a bit harsh, but that's how I felt when I was a kid, when I tried it for the first time. Have you met a 4-year-old? They can't do anything. They're fucking stupid. But then when I tried the other Metroids down the line, like back when Zero Mission released, or Fusion, or even the Metroid Primes, I always had the same exact problem. I still felt like I'm simply too stupid to play those, or at least I just didn't get the concept. I never knew where to go, what to do, what to look for. I got confused all the time. Both the NES Metroid as well as the second game on Game Boy are a different level of confusing. Because there's not even a map. Even with a map in later games, I kept getting lost. Keep in mind, I was no stranger to backtracking at the time either. I loved Resident Evil, even at a young age. So I was used to the concept of finding items to unlock previously unreachable places, but for some reason, no matter which Metroid game I tried over the years, be it Metroid Fusion, Zero Mission, or even Metroid Prime, I had much more problems navigating than I ever had in RE games. The last game at that time was somewhere around in 2010. It was Metroid Prime Hunters on Nintendo DS, which probably has the most confusing level design of the entire franchise. So after that one, I decided that Metroid games just aren't for me. I thought I gave it a fair chance, but I couldn't progress through any of them without consulting a guide, which felt like work. I was just a fairly impatient teenager back then who instead started to prefer games like Call of Duty to play with the boys.
Shoot a gun, dog. Learn how to fucking shoot a gun, you fucking
So I abandoned the franchise, and I hadn't touched a Metroid game again for around a decade, until in 2022, out of no particular reason at all, I wasn't aware that I would be greeted with the best main menu screen I have ever seen and heard. It sets the mood instantly. Isolation, mystery, loss. How is that music so good? And when you start the game,
The last Metroid is in captivity.
holy shit, the cutscenes have voice acting. On Super Nintendo, you land on this planet and the silence seems like it means something. You hear the wind, you feel alone, and then slowly as you find the morph ball, the missiles, the charge beam, something happens. The map starts to make sense. You remember blocked doors, weird corners, strange ledges. Backtracking stops feeling like a chore and starts feeling like solving a puzzle you already saw. You just didn't know the rules yet. Like you would come across a new ability not knowing how to use it, and then the game puts an animal in front of you who is executing the exact ability you just learned. This is how the game teaches you that move, you understand? This blew my mind. And you just watch it. You just watch and learn. Super Metroid is a slow burn, but when it clicks, it hits harder than most fast-paced games ever do. That's the thing I missed about Metroid as a concept. It's not an action series. It's not really about combat. It's about mood. The quiet, the cold, the tension. Every room is a question. Every upgrade is a memory. The game doesn't guide you. It trusts you. It assumes you're smart enough to figure it out. And once I started leaning into that, it stopped feeling frustrating and started feeling personal. Like I was discovering something the game wasn't showing anyone else. This game is absolutely stuffed to all hell with secret items. You want to shoot every wall and see if there's something hidden in it. It's so motivating and it kept my curiosity up so much. I banked this game out over the course of 3 days and clocked in at around 25 hours. It left me with the feeling of, okay, I've seen a lot, but I'm sure I missed just as much. Then I looked up the how long to beat for Super Metroid. 9 hours for completionist. These votes must be coming from absolute virtuos, mythical scholars or something. That all being said, after I finished Super Metroid and felt like I understood the formula and concept more, I went back and played Zero Mission. It was fantastic. It had all these real tense pursuer sneak sequences that were pretty cool. Then I played Samus Returns on the 3DS, a remake of Metroid 2. Boy, that one was fucking beautiful on a little screen. Then I went back and played the first Metroid, still dog shit. Then I tried Metroid Prime, but never finished it because once Metroid goes 3D, I'm out of here. I'm getting far more confused, and that's a whole nother video. But then the most recent one I played was Metroid Dread. And holy Stromboli, yes, Metroid clicked for me with Super Metroid, but Metroid Dread, definitely the smoothest experience that I ever had in any Metroidvania even. The movement is just so much fun. The visuals are incredible. The boss fights are challenging. When those fucking fuck robots walk around trying to sniff you out, all you feel is, well, dread. The one thing that I wished it had more of is music. This game seems kind of sterile, and I get that this might be the idea here, but the soundtrack is one of the greatest things about Super Metroid, and it's also part of the reason why, so far, it's my favorite in the series. Every once in a long time, there comes along a piece of media, be it a movie, music, or a game that just hits all the marks. The complete big picture, the composition of gameplay, story, level design, graphics, atmosphere, and soundtrack offers such a balanced, meticulously, perfectly put together experience that in my opinion, Super Metroid is undebatedly, objectively one of the greatest games ever made. And I'm so glad that I was finally able to see that. Super Metroid not only taught me how enjoyable Metroid games are, but how enjoyable Metroidvanias as a genre in general can be. I wasn't too big on those beforehand, but ever since I played a couple of Metroids and a couple of Castlevanias, I mean, shit's just fun. Anyway, this was my experience with the Metroid franchise and how I went from, I guess these games aren't for me, to, I fucking love this. See you next time.